Sainz takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. It's 3 wide between the two Ferraris and myself. I go wide. I bang tyres with... What's happening, everyone? TomGorian here, and welcome back to episode 21 of the F1 23 Haas to Glory. Before we get started with this video, make sure to check out the previous video in the Spanish Grand Prix, where we got a shock podium in one of the most chaotic races that you'll see on the series. And of course, check out the playlist so that you're all up to date. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe for more F1 23 content. And yeah, let's get straight into this video. No more wasting time, let's do this. So this is episode 21, race number 7 for the second season of the Haas to Glory, and we are starting to make some waves in this championship fight. We've scored a couple of podiums, the win of course at Monaco and the second place at Spain, and as you can see we are 21 points behind Sergio Perez and 12 points behind Lando Norris as we try to capture our first World Championship. As far as the constructors, we will probably score over 100 points this season, and the gap between us and I believe Red Bull isn't that big, with still plenty of race to go. So here we go, we've got the central undertray upgrades onto the car, which means that our chassis has really been buffed and really been upgraded, and now we have the second best car, and there is confirmation of the central undertray upgrade for our car, which means that there's only one upgrade left for the weight redistribution, which is the ultimate weight redistribution, the hydraulics upgrade. And if we do get that upgrade onto the car, that will pretty much be mostly confirmed for the next race at the British Grand Prix for Silverstone, and that could be an ultimate move considering that it's our home race, and that could really seal our fate for this championship. And as you can see, well, around about now as well, we also get the floor actually is it drag upgrade for the aerodynamics. I'm not really sure about that, but all plans as far as what we're going to do for the next race will be made off camera, and I will address those upgrades in the next video. Our agent Emma, who by the way I didn't realize she was in this game, by the way, she's talking to me about rival, and we will choose a rival very soon. And there's confirmation about the hydraulics upgrade coming for the British Grand Prix, so that is going to be something, and I can't wait for that. However, we've got to deal with the Canadian Grand Prix first. I love this circuit, I've had a high win rate here on multiple F1 games, and let's see if I can try and repeat. So here we are, qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix here at Circuit de Montreal. I do have a high success rate around here, and I just love the circuit. I think it's just simply because I can master the setup as far as wing values and also the ride height. But for some reason, if there's one word I have to describe the car this weekend, it is uncomfortable. Yeah, the weight issues that I've been talking about with this series, they have returned for this race, and I do believe it is a setup issue as we finish our first lap and we do a 109.706, and now here we go with over 30 seconds left at the end of qualifying, getting ready to try and snatch pole position. We need approximately 2.5 tenths in order to snatch a pole position from Lando Norris. So here we go out of the chicanes and we're getting ready. As you can see, Albon and Verstappen is the car ahead, and Perez and Piastri are in 5th and 6th. Turns 1 and 2, as you can see, they were not really the best turns, and we are slightly down, but we do gain the time back as we enter the second chicane, and we do gain slight time just back. But just the car in general, especially as we enter this section, as Lando Norris does a 9 flat, 1 minute 9 flat 5.9, and he takes provisional pole position. But the car just, it's just the balance. That's just what I've been struggling with, just the balance of the car. Just it's oversteer in slow speed and understeer in medium and high speed as we exit the hairpin. And as you can see, with this exit, we gain a 10th back, and we are just under 2.5 tenths up as we enter the main straight, and we're getting ready to close the lap. So hopefully, this can be somewhat of pole position. We're averaging 217 miles an hour as we exit the chicane. I could have attacked the chicane a little bit better there. Stay to the right hand side. Across the line we go. It's a 109.419, and that is only good enough for 4th place in this race. So it's not pole position today, unfortunately, again. And yeah, just qualifying. I just haven't really been on it with this game. And as you can see, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, both Ferraris ahead of us. How the hell's that happened? Pierre Gasly in 5th place as well. This should be a very interesting race.
Montreal is not only the second largest French-speaking city in the world, but it's home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. The name Villeneuve looms large over this one, but who can write their own legends today? It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history and could be the cause of a safety car today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Thomas, Gasly, Verstappen, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Perez, Magnussen, Russell, Hamilton, Ocon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Sargent, Joe, and Nick de Vries. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Natalie Pinkham. Thanks for joining us, Natalie. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So, with the cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Welcome to the grid of Montreal, and as you can see, it's going to be raining in the second half of this race. We're going to go from sunny conditions all the way to slight overcast, sunny, but there will be rain in this race, so which means that we will be on intermediate tyres. So, the most important thing is, what tyre do we go on? Do we go on the mediums or do we go on the hards? I don't think, at this stage of the race, there's no way that the softs can go, more than halfway without losing major performance. And the thought process I have with this was, do I go medium softs? Well, I mean, I'm not going to go on the soft tires, but do I start on the mediums or do I start on the softs? And I made the choice to start on the softs. As you can see, there's strategy from the AI. Lando Norris, Lance Stroll, and Oscar Piastri all start on the softs. And Valtteri Bottas and I believe Zhou Guanyu of the Alfa Romeo boys are on the hards, which is a very interesting diversion of strategy, multiple choices for this race. And as you can see, I'm just going over strategy. I'm just trying to see if the hards are worth it. And in the end, I don't think that the hards are worth it, and I'm going to go back onto the medium tyres for this race. So we know it's the one stop. We're going to go from the mediums to the inters, but it's all about when the rain comes.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparation.
7 races in towards the season, and this is potentially the biggest race so far of this season. a podium or a win could potentially see us in the lead of the World Championship as we head in towards the British Grand Prix. And if we have that, we have all of the momentum on our side. Perez is nowhere, Lando is in first. Hopefully we can try and get a good start as we get ready for 5 red lights here in Montreal, Canada. Here we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Lando Norris gets a great start and the Ferraris are side by side as we head towards the first 2 corners. Lando Norris is clearly ahead, and I think Carlos Sainz will go around the outside of Charles Leclerc. They're wheel-to-wheel between the 2 Ferraris. Verstappen, Stroll and Gasly are fighting for P6, and Carlos Sainz is ahead of Charles Leclerc as we head towards the end of Sector 1. So it's Lando Norris in the lead, followed by Carlos Sainz. Lance Stroll is in 6th. Verstappen is in 5th. Lance Stroll is on the soft tyres. And Charles Leclerc is in 3rd place. Now, I will say this. Ferrari seem to be slower than us in the Vehicle Performance Index. However, in these last 3 or 4 races, they have found unbelievable pace. Speaking of unbelievable pace, there goes Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin on the soft tyres. He tries to dive down the inside, and there's no room for him. But with this car, the balance issues that I've been experiencing this season, they have definitely came back as there's a yellow flag, and that is Lando Norris. Is that Lando Norris? It is Lando Norris. Lando Norris in the McLaren is out of the Canadian Grand Prix, and that's a big, big moment in this season's World Championship. The championship leader, well, it is Sergio Perez, but Lando Norris, who's competing for the Drivers' Championship, is out of this race, and Sergio Perez is absolutely nowhere so far in this race. So now all McLaren's hopes are now down to Oscar Piastri as he tries to go around the outside in towards the hairpin. No room for him. But now, with Lando Norris now out, that is giving us a major opportunity to try and close in on the gap in the World Championship as we head towards the British Grand Prix. And as you can see, Oscar Piastri is just flying past us, as you can see. And there are going to be some clips where we're just going to be swapping and changing positions back and forth. But the Ferraris, they have their performance index. You know, that's not true. They are apparently supposed to be the 5th worst team, and so far, as you can see, it's a 1-2 for Ferrari. Sainz is leading Leclerc, and they've been the best team so far. I'd have to say it's McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull haven't really been anywhere, and also Aston Martin. They've had some glimpses of pace, and if it wasn't for the DNF in Spain in the last race, Alex Albon could be in contention. But we haven't really been experiencing any issues as far as reliability is concerned, but we do have issues with balance, and that's just the main thing I need to sort out with this car as far as the balance, because in Spain I felt like the car was perfect as far as just handling, as far as the balance. I wasn't getting too much understeer and too much oversteer into corners and outer corners. The balance was right, and you could feel it. Here, as you can see, look at the rear end. It's nowhere. It's literally nowhere like Ferrari's pace in 2023. Absolutely nowhere as Lance Stroll gets past. And as you can see, I'm starting to regret the decision now as far as starting on the mediums compared to starting on the softs. And as you can see, I'm just bleeding time. The Ferraris are at least 5 seconds ahead compared to me. I'm getting past Lance Stroll once again as we head towards the chicane. Easy as you like, but look at the clouds. The rain is coming, believe it or not. And there's a yellow flag on the exit of the chicane, and there's a safety car has been deployed here in Canada. Zhou Guanyu is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. We're going to see what has happened there as we're going to try and match the Delta. And as you can see, he just loses the back end. He does a Roman Grosjean of 2019, and he loses the back end. And as you can see, Mark has let me know that the rain is imminent. It's coming, so we do not pit. This is the most decisive action of this race, because as you can see, Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, the top 5, they all box for either mediums or hard tyres. And as you can see, there is the rain, and we are now underway for green flag racing here in the Canadian Grand Prix for the Haas to Glory Season 2 Championship. And look at the rain already. This is, yeah, I mean, I should have boxed. I'm losing the back end already. And now it's more about keeping the car on the circuit and trying to survive. We are driving to survive. Back to the pit lane. There goes Carlos Sainz. Sainz takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. It's 3 wide. Between the 2 Ferraris and myself, I go wide. I bang tyres with Carlos Sainz. There's a warning there with Carlos Sainz. And the track is absolutely moist with wet liquid stuff. Take that how you want it. I don't really care, but you get the analogy. At least it's wet, it's damp, it's like my pants when I go to the gym. It's just soaked. So I'm coming in now for intermediate tyres, and we are going to go to the end of this race unless there is a second safety car and the track dries up immediately. I do get held there by Yuki Tsunoda, but that doesn't waste any time. And as you can see, Nick de Vries, George Russell, my teammate. What is my teammate doing? Kevin Magnussen, what are you doing, son? Kevin Magnussen has stayed out alongside, I believe that is Carlos Sainz. And as you can see, that did not pay off. And now, this race now goes from being, well, the opportunists to now trying to hold on as they go slightly wide in towards turn 1. Now, lap 22 as we enter the third chicane almost, and this is where just the balance issues really show. As you can see, I'm just trying to correct the car with oversteer, and you know, on corner entry it's understeer, and then out of the second part of that chicane it oversteers, so I have to constantly correct the balance of the car, and I'm trying to mess around with the front brake bias. I'm moving it down to 54% and then moving it back up to 56%, and now as you can see on this clip 55%, and I can't get the balance right. The differential is at 50 for these intermediate conditions, and that is the right differential. That is the right differential to be on as far as just where the balance is shifting. But even at 50%, it's still slacking. But as you can see, lap 29, I'm still holding on, and I'm gaining all the time because of the exit out of the hairpin. And Mark, I request a weather forecast update, and the rain is easing off in 5-10 minutes. But by the time 5-10 minutes comes, the race is going to be all over. So as long as we keep it on the circuit, and as long as we don't make any mistakes, we can hold on as we enter the third to last lap of this race. I go slightly wide. Verstappen tries to cut back, but he can't do anything because of our switchback skills and just the exits, our overpowered exits as we're heading towards the chicane. And now as we enter the final lap, we lose the back end there. Verstappen is all over us as we enter the hairpin. 2 seconds separates me and Pierre Gasly as we enter the hairpin. The rear wing has failed. I don't know what the hell does that mean. Does that mean we don't have DRS? I think it does. But the DRS doesn't matter as we're going to use all of the battery on this main straight. We have held on dramatically for the second half of this race since the intermediates. Pretty much we're fitted onto the car as we exit the final chicane. We have switched a 4th place start into our 2nd win of this season.
What a fantastic Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for the Haas team. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I feel consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
There aren't many teams, as they come out onto the podium now, who could do what Haas have managed to accomplish here. It's hard to believe how competitive they've already become. Amazing victory.
So there it is, our 2nd victory of this season. We had to work for it. We qualified in 4th, and if it wasn't for the AI that stopped literally right before the safety car, then yeah, we wasn't going to win this race. And because of the one extra stop that the AI did, and it's still an issue. I mean, why would you box on mediums and hards when you know the rain's coming? And that is really what decided this race today. It wasn't the pace, it wasn't the car, The car was an absolute shambles to drive, just with the balance. However, as you can see, we did one stop from the mediums to the inters, and there is confirmation. We take the lead in the Drivers' Championship by 4 points. Perez didn't score, and Lando Norris didn't score as well, which means now we take the lead in the World Championship as we head to our home race, the British Grand Prix. We move up to second in the Constructors' World Championship, just over 50 points behind Red Bull, but that is all to play for. Magnussen needs to sort his stuff out, but yeah, all the momentum is on our side. And that is that for episode 21 of the F123 Haas to Glory. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more F123 content, and I'll see you all in the next video. In a bit.